Hi everybody, today we're going to look at lesson 111, adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Now we've done a fair amount of this already, so hopefully this will be kind of a review, but let's go through this anyway. Alright, example 1. A group of hikers hiked 7 3/10 miles in the morning. After stopping for lunch and to rest, the group hiked 5 4/10 miles in the afternoon. How many miles altogether did the group hike that day? Rule number 1, you must write these vertically. It will be much easier, particularly when we get to subtraction. So we start by writing our whole number, 7 3/10, 5 4/10. We're adding, we always add the fractions first, and we only add the numerators. 3 plus 4 is 7. My denominator remains 10. I don't add the denominators. And 7 plus 5 is 12. Okay, I can't reduce 7/10, so here is my answer. But of course, it's a word problem, so you're going to put miles on the end of your answer. Okay? All right, let's look at example 2. Oh. In just a minute. There we go. Okay, example 2. Rory lives 2 3/4 miles from school. How far does Rory ride if he rides from home to school and then back home? So we have 2 3/4 miles on the way to school, plus 2 3/4 miles on the way home. So again, I'm going to start with my numerators. Okay, 3 plus 3 equals 6. My denominator stays 4. Now I have two options here. I can either convert this into a mixed number now, or I can add my whole numbers and then convert. I'm going to convert first. Okay? So 2 6/4 equals 1 2/4, which equals 1 1/2. This 1 I'm going to take and I'm going to move up here and carry it. Then I add my whole numbers. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So now I take this whole number, we take this whole number, we take our reduced fraction, and that becomes our answer of 5 1/2 miles. Okay? The other way to do it is to take 4 6/4. Okay, we're going to convert this into 4 plus the fraction of 1 1/2, which then equals 5 1/2. Either way works, whichever you prefer. Okay, let's look at example 3. Okay, an old computer took 2 5/6 hours to perform a complex calculation. A new computer performed the same calculation in 1 1/6 hours. How many fewer hours did the new computer require? Well, since we're doing how many fewer, this tells me I'm going to subtract. So 2 5/6 minus 1 1/6. I subtract my numerators. 5 minus 1 is 4. My denominator stays the same. And now I can subtract my whole numbers. 2 minus 1 is 1. However, we have to reduce, so 1 2/3 hours. Okay, make sure you subtract the fractions and you only subtract the numerator. The denominator stays the same, just like in addition. Okay, and our last example for today, 7 1/3 minus 4 2/3. You need to write these vertically. 7 1/3 minus 4 2/3. Okay, We look at our fraction first. 1/3 minus 2/3. I can't do that, it doesn't work. So I need to borrow from the 7. It becomes a 6. And I'm borrowing 3/3. So this 1/3 becomes 3/3 that I borrowed, because I borrowed 1 whole, plus 1/3 that I already have. So that becomes 4/3. Now I can do 4/3 minus 2/3 equals 2/3. 6 minus 4 equals 2. And 2 2/3 is my answer. Okay? I want to do one more subtraction problem where you have to borrow, so just kind of bear with me. All right, let's take 6 and 1/4 minus 2 and 3/4. Okay, now I can't do 1/4 minus 3/4, so I have to borrow from the 6. It becomes a 5. And I add 4/4 because 4/4 is equivalent to 1 whole. I'm not adding 10. This does not become an 11. I add the denominators and the whole thing becomes 5/4. So this 5/4, I can now subtract 3/4 to get 2/4. 5 minus 2 is 3. I reduce to 3.5. Okay, so be careful when you are subtracting and have to borrow. You have to borrow a fraction equivalent to 1 with the same denominator as your problem. All right? Okay, lesson practice. A through L. There are 2 problems on the top of the next page. Make sure you watch out for those, and I'll see you tomorrow.